Okay, I call this meeting to order on February 12th, 2020 at 7 p.m. Rondo, you want to, or should we do the pledge? Mindy, it looks like you got the flag. You want to do it tonight? Okay.
Okay, let me unmute. And Missy, did you intentionally have no video? I didn't know if you did that on purpose or not, because you don't have video.
I don't know. How's that?
Oh, hi, Missy.
Oh.
Hey. If y'all can see me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Miss Binkham, will you call roll?
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn.
Yes.
For the record, F.O. Binkin is present. Road Supervisor Mike Kraft, Police Chief Littleton, and Kate Christian, the Zoning Administrator, are not present tonight.
Okay, and on the agenda tonight, we have Resolution 20 to approve minutes from the special meeting from March 13th. So I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes. Okay, also approve minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting from April 14th, 2020. So moved.
Second.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn.
Yes.
Okay, and then approve payment of bills from check 35142 to check 35219. Electronic payments and vouchers. I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes. Okay, and fiscal officer approves no salary increase approved by the state of Ohio for $771 for fiscal year 2020. Fiscal officer will review increase in 2021. You need a motion for that?
Move to accept.
Second.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes. Okay, and then Memorial Day services have been canceled at Piermont Cemetery. Flags will be placed by veterans' graves. Trustees' thoughts regarding the $100 donation to the VFW American Legion for Brookville and New Lebanon.
My initial thought is we don't have it in our budget to donate out of the township funds, but I would be willing to personally make that contribution, or a third at least of the contribution, if the two of you are willing to go in, or contribute at least a significant part of it to avoid having to take it out of township money.
I agree. That's what I was thinking as well.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
So I don't think we need a resolution on that, since we're just going to make a donation to the township, and then Rhonda can just forward that.
Right.
I will forward you the addresses then for the donations to be submitted by the trustees.
Okay.
And Rhonda, you can let us know, the amounts and to whom specifically those get directed.
Usually we give $100 to the VFW in Brookville and $100 to the American Legion in New Lebanon. That's $200 total.
Okay, so are we going to divide that in a third and pay it to the township to go out, or do we individually make those to the two different VFWs?
That's up to you trustees, what you would like to do.
So I think it comes to like $67 each.
Mm-hmm.
That would equal to a little over $200. So.
Yeah, I'm good with writing a $67 check to the township and then let the disbursement come from the township so that we at least continue with that tradition. But will that screw up any bookkeeping?
Rhonda?
Yeah, I'm thinking It kind of depends, probably not right now, but later on in the year, then I will have to reevaluate the certificate of estimated resources. It all kind of depends upon the second half taxes that is generated and where our budget is at the time. But we can, that's fine. You can make a donation to the township, or if you want to personally make the donation, either way is fine.
Okay, so let's decide, what do you guys want to do? You want to make it to Rhonda, or you want to make it individually?
I think individually would probably save us some headache on the back end.
Okay,
But I'm open to what you guys think.
okay. So if Rhonda just gives us a name of who we need to send it to, each one of us just sends just $67 and half that for New London and half for Brookville.
Okay, yep, that works.
I have a question. Would somebody like to compose a letter so they know it is still basically coming from the township or the 3 trustees, not necessarily the township itself?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll do that when I send my check in. Just let us know that all 3 trustees have, since the budget cuts and everything else, will go. The trustees are doing this out of their own personal funds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Authorize entering into an agreement and purchase a business class web hosting package and associate services from Host Papa, former Luna Page, for a 2-year period at a cost of $228.50. Price will include 24 months of website hosting for $4.95 a month, $19.95 a year for data backup and restore capabilities, $19.95 per year for security services, $14.95 per year for certificate services. Services included in the price is free domain registration, unlimited email address for Perry Township employees and officials, guarantee uptime of the website at 99.9%, 24/7 support, use of website development tools, and free training.
And did we all agree on the domain name?
Yeah.
I think last meeting I submitted that, and everyone was fine with the name that, I think everybody came back with the same name.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rhonda, do you need us to make a motion on that?
I'll need make a motion, pass a resolution for that, and then we'll also need a resolution to terminate the AOL email address within the next few months when Jason is ready for that to be
Yeah.
disconnected.
Yeah. So I make a motion to enter into the web hosting and email agreement for the 2-year period as previously stated.
Second.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Okay, now before we make the next one to terminate AOL, Rhonda, did you check on that see if there was any termination fees or anything?
I have not, so we can still make the motion for the resolution to terminate AOL. Jason, do you know, would there be any termination fees with that, or?
I haven't talked to AOL. Usually there isn't, but we're going to want to make sure that we archive anything we need to archive off from there, as well as make sure that we're well into the bake-in period on the new email addresses. So I think for right now, we may want to hold off on this resolution until we're ready to pull the trigger, because putting it in there without his firm date might be a step too far.
Yeah, I say that we table this until we find out.
Okay.
Okay, so email from Trustee Hartshorn, consent agenda. Would adopting something like the following make for a better streamlining of our meetings? Matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be acted by one motion and one vote of consent. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired, that item will be removed from consent agenda and considered separately. Examples below for the consent agenda: April 14th, regular meeting May 4th, special meeting purchase orders, payroll, and bills.
So this is something that I saw one of the other townships doing. Just helps them get through approving all their minutes in one group, as well as paying their bills and whatnot. It's not something we have to do. It's just something that I saw, and I wanted to see if there was any interest in something like this.
Jason, I watched the Montgomery County Commissioners Zoom meeting this afternoon, and I think they're doing the same thing. What I noticed is each of the approval of minutes or payment of bills, each had their own resolution number, but they went through it all and then took one vote at the end. Is that the same concept that you're thinking?
It is the same concept. I actually got this from a township. I can't remember if it was Miami or German, but that they had this just at the top of their meeting to, instead of having a separate reading out of each of the minutes because of special meetings and everything else that happened. And it seemed to streamline their meeting a bit. So that's why I wanted to bring it up.
I liked what I saw on the Montgomery County Commissioners, or what I heard, I should say. So if you want to pull that up on Facebook and look at that, just make sure we're on the same page. I would agree to something like that.
Okay, can we, this is something that I'd like to research too before we take a vote on that. So can we table that maybe to a next, when we all can get together in another work session or something?
Agreed.
I'd be in favor of that idea.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to talk about this now, Missy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been pulling together some of the large expenses for the remaining 2020 year. For the fire departments, each department, we're going to owe $4,113.54. So it's a total of $8,227.08. Workers' comp, which will be paid in December. Last year, it was $1,005.36. This would increase because in January 2020, the trustees did receive a pay increase of $440 per trustee. We have the attorney fees of $4,261.81. The Perzo payment for the Bertelsen case, $3,390.61. I estimated the trustees' pay at 50% out of the we need to look at the nuisance of properties. You go out, you go to paper, certify mailing. At first, I was hoping I worked with zoning, we can't swear, but after being paid, that's not feasible. Zoning appeals, I know there has been a current zoning meeting that's tabled, and there will be currently a month going to the third meeting. Of course, our board members get paid for each meeting that they attend. Insurance, we're currently at $1 million, we would need to down to $3 million. And final,
How often does the BZA meet, and how much does that generally cost per meeting when they have to table things to them?
The current meeting is $0.30 for the legal ad, and it's $20 per member. So there's 5 members that attend. So currently, with the current BZA, the meeting December 18, it was tabled. Their second meeting was in March of 2020. It was tabled again, going to be in June next month. So currently, right now, with the K salary, BZA board members and fees, would not be no money.
And would be the item is there other items? Maybe I'm familiar with the BZA meetings. Is there more than one zoning topic being appealed at that meeting? Is it each specifically for the one topic?
No, there can be. There's multiple, and then we'll group them all together.
Usually just one.
It has been tabled multiple times.
Correct. And I know that issues do come up, and it's difficult to look in every angle or direction. But then maybe the needs to be the information not gathered needs to wait until the following month.
That's what I'm saying, having a special meeting, wait until the next meeting comes up. So there can be more than one agenda topic in one less meeting that there has to be expenses between the different topics coming up.
The further that you want, it's just less wanting a lot split. You know, they're meant to take place soon, of course, and you never know what might be next month that someone could come in with an application wanting to split something else off. So it is kind of difficult, but I think what we do have to keep in mind is at least collecting all the information so when they have the meeting, we don't have to table it to find out more information.
Right. And when the new zoning person is hired, is that person's salary potentially going to be negotiable, or will we have to equate that to what Kate is getting now?
That will be up to you trustees on the hours, the number of hours, the pay, all that will have to come into play. It'll be up to you trustees to decide on that.
So perhaps we should have a meeting to discuss that at some point.
We got to double check that because I'm not sure if the ad that we posted stated $15 an hour.
Oh, okay.
We got to check that.
Is it possible to state that there is a $100, just an example, $100 fee to expedite zoning permits like that? So if it's going to be something like you said, if people want it sooner rather than later, and there's usually at least 5 board members, is there a way to offset that with the fees or with an expediting fee or something like that?
I'm not for sure, Jason, on that. I would have to get maybe with a BZA board member, but you trustees arrive at those fees that you want to charge the residents. You know, we evaluate the zoning fees, and right now it's $475 for a BZA appeal.
Gotcha.
So basically what you're saying is, so the BZA meets, and if someone wants a lot split, and then they go, there's the BZA is supposed to investigate this and get all their information. Then when they come to a meeting and someone doesn't agree on something, then they table it and then they come back again. And that's how we're losing money, correct?
Probably Kate would be the best one to ask these questions, but she's not on the Zoom meeting tonight.
Okay.
The latest one that I do know about, there was a family plot cemetery, and that was brought up by a resident questioning how someone can get to that cemetery now that they're splitting this house and buildings off with the farm ground. And that did not come up until the second BZA meeting. So then it was tabled a third time. So Kate could reach out to the prosecutor on how that could be added into the deed description for access to that cemetery.
Okay, I don't know that much about BZAs, but do the people in the BZA, do they go out and invest or check this before the meetings?
They should.
So these people didn't know that there was a cemetery?
I cannot answer that. I don't know.
Okay.
It was not mentioned anyway.
Okay, gotcha.
So to the best of our knowledge, the people that met the first time did not know there was a cemetery on the property, and then found out later there was a cemetery on the property. Is that what I understand? Or were there people who knew but didn't disclose that information?
I don't think it was brought up during the first meeting.
Okay, well, that's something we're probably going to have to talk about and come to some type of long-term plan on, because if that's costing us money because somebody chose not to share information, I don't find that to be okay, but we also don't know if the information is or isn't available. So we're going to probably have to talk that amongst ourselves and figure it out.
Agree.
So Rhonda, what's the impact of reducing the OTARMA insurance from $4 to $3 million?
I haven't reached out to OTARMA to ask how that would help with the general fund. I'm trying to think back when I came in, what we were paying OTARMA, and I'd have to go back to the records room, but I'm thinking it was less than 20,000. And as we know, every year it just increases. And now we're, close to 30,000 on that. So I don't know how much would really help save us. I think it's just part of insurance is just increasing substantially over the years.
Right. So just to kind of summarize from a layman's perspective, I guess, what you've laid out here basically shows that the township is very close to fiscal distress. Is that accurate?
It's going to be very close, yes.
Okay.
And
So,
and I'm talking about the general fund only. I'm not
right,
talking about any of the other funds right now.
right. And just from what I've read, fiscal distress is based on the general fund, and it's, there's 3 stages to it. So I'm sure you know that. I'm not gonna read it off to you, but it is serious. It's a very serious occurrence when it happens. And it's one of the, it's one of the things with this township specifically is we don't have the resources that the other townships have.
That is correct.
We don't have subdivisions. We don't have businesses that generate a lot of income. We don't have hospitals. We don't have a lot of the stuff that generates revenue for the other townships in the county. And what keeps Perry Township unique and near and dear to the hearts of us that live here is the agriculture and everything else. So this is, I don't want people to think that this is something that just happened over the last couple of years. This is something, there were a few key events that happened, but we weren't making money hand over fist and well above the black before those things happened. So this is, the immediate need is to figure out how to, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Rhonda, but to figure out how to avoid fiscal distress, the caution of fiscal distress, by making budgetary cuts and trying to figure out where we can tighten our belts.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so if I can make a suggestion, first off, I was not aware of the $440 raise that the trustees got until last month. So my take is on that is I don't need that. And also I wanted to know what you guys' thought was if we take a 50% pay cut beginning in June. And I know that Jason, you've already donated your pay to the school and back to the township. So with cuts coming and all the expenses coming, what you guys' thoughts on that?
I didn't even know there was a raise. So
I didn't either.
yeah.
It's by the state of Ohio and your January check. I just included it in there. I have to enter that into my payroll software.
So yeah, I mean, I can go back to whatever it was before. I don't necessarily need a raise because I just got here.
Okay. So, well, Jason, you're donating yours, correct?
I'm donating my whole year's salary. So however that works out, if it's a 50% cut across the board, that'll hit a few other things because
Right.
it'll lower the amount that I'm donating back. But
Well,
if it's for the, that's something else we'd have to figure out then. Then on top of these numbers, we would have to add the deficit between what we would owe to the 2 fire departments
right. But
for this year.
if we didn't do it, I mean, if each one of us just wanted to donate, I mean, if you're donating your entire, I mean, it's something that all 3 of us have to agree on. So we
Right.
would have to vote on it. So if you want to donate all yours and then Mindy wants to donate so much and I want to donate so much, we could do that.
Right.
Well,
So
can I step in here? If we're looking at a pay cut, it has to be a unanimous decision.
Right.
So
But what we're saying is you go ahead and just like you're doing Jason, you cut him a check, he turns around, cashes the check and gives it back to you. That's what we would do.
Okay.
Is everybody in agreement with that?
Did we decide on what is the amount? Or is it just 50% of our pay is what we're deciding? Or
I think it's basically, I'm willing to give 50% back or more. I mean,
Well, currently, I don't have my UAN up, but I think you trustees per month make $1,076.50.
okay.
so yeah, I mean, whatever we want to decide on. I think some months I'll be able to give more than others, but
Well, we have to, yeah. So I don't think we have to make a motion on that or anything, since that's just gonna be up to us, correct, Rhonda?
No, you have to make a motion and all three have to agree. If you want to do a 50% pay cut, I need approval from
Well,
all
we don't,
three
we
of
don't,
you.
okay, but we don't want to do like a 50% because like Jason said, he's donating his entire check back. There may be a month I'll donate my entire check back.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with me. Some months I may be able to give 50%, some months I may be able to give 100%, and I may get in a boat where I,
Okay, so we're not doing no pay cut then. We're giving you your paycheck
Right.
and
we're
you're
just
still
gonna
going to
get-
be taxed on that.
Right,
And so
Yeah.
then you will be donating back then
right.
what you want of your
Yes.
paycheck. Okay.
we will agree to make a donation of some amount from each paycheck. The amount is going to be up to each of us based on each given month.
And we can report that monthly in the Board of Trustee meetings so
Yes.
that so that it's on the record. People know this isn't going to be something that happens in a quiet corridor. It's going to be
No.
something that we're wide open about.
Right, I wholeheartedly agree.
So Jason, your pay for January through April went to the school, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Are they gonna give that back to you, Jason, since there's no school?
No, it's actually going to, I talked to Ms. Thomas and they're actually going to roll it over into next year's
Just
STEM camp. So it's not going to be lost.
Yeah, just kidding.
I know.
Okay, and, okay, Rhonda, you wanna go on?
Okay, I'm just thinking about the donation. Do we need any resolution for that or?
I don't think so. I think that's up to the individual, like Jason
That's
said,
true.
each month we'll just report back, how much was donated back to the township.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did get that advisement from Nathaniel that donations can be made for any purpose to pay
Yes.
anything specific. So I think we're covered there.
Okay, okay. And the next order of business that I have is with the fire and EMS contract. I know in there, they had several item numbers where we can request information. In item number 11, it was between the village and the city over the EMS billing. So I would like to request a summary report from January 1st of 2020 on their EMS revenue that they have received. Item number 14, a copy of the fire department's budget. We have not received that. Item 15, have either the fire chiefs or the designees be present at the June trustees meeting to discuss financial and operational issues in the township. Item number 16, again, have the fire chief or the designees present to discuss the fire and emergency medical services in the township. And they have in there that they'll come quarterly. So would you like me to send an email to both entities or to have them come in the June meeting?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that, and see if they can go ahead and supply you with that other information, and maybe we can have that at the June meeting.
Okay. And then
So before
ahead.
we go down that path, I'm going to just interject something. I was going to talk about this later, but if we're talking about inviting the village, the city, and their fire representatives, we may well end up have a problem with the amount of people that can attend a meeting in person. And this is something we're going to have to figure out for the June meeting. I know a lot of townships have had problems with, they get caught on the fence of, can they limit the number of people that can attend in person or turn people away because they reach max occupancy before the meeting starts. If we're planning on having someone come in and talk, that might be a bit of a pinch for us. So are there any thoughts on what we're going to plan to do for the June meeting? before we plan to reach out to the village and the city and have them attend.
If my suggestion is if we do this, if we think that we need them at the meeting, because I would like to hear some of their what's going on with them, I would suggest have them there first. Give them, the first 15 minutes to a half hour. Then they vacate and have other people come. Then we can have the other people come in if there's more. But I think I would like to know what's going on.
Oh, most definitely. I just want to make sure that we're
Yeah.
thinking about this before
Right.
we get in the situation. That's all.
Yeah, and we can space out the chairs and everything else like that. So, yeah.
I would like to see us continue, even with the live meetings in person, if we can still continue to broadcast them either over Facebook Live or Zoom as a platform during the meeting. So those who don't come to the meetings are still participating, watching, or can jump in on it.
Right. That is still the plan. I have a camera for that specifically. I do need to get back in there in the meeting room and see what the options are, because if we're going through the camera system that is tied into the audio, the ability to get that off, we can't stream from that. So that would have to be something where we post it on Facebook or on YouTube after it happens. If we want to do it live, then I've got a camera for that to try to do that, but the camera is probably going to have to be within, I don't know, 8 feet of the tables that sit out in front of us to make sure that we get the audio crisp and everything else. So that's something that I still need to run through once we're back in the meeting room and knocking the bugs out of that to see what we can do and what we can't do. At worst, we can always post it after the fact, because that's one of the things that we're going to be doing is, along with a Facebook page, plan to have a YouTube page as well to be able to upload meetings and stuff like that. That way we're not burning through media the way that we do to give the personal copies if we don't have to. We can actually make that available and link to it on the Facebook page.
And I think we should do that as well, but the Zoom opportunity or broadcasting it live still gives people who aren't here the opportunity to interact with us. If somebody who is watching this has a question, they can still unmute themselves and ask the question or do the raise hand logo or something. So, they don't have to physically be in the room to still participate.
Right. And I'm happy to figure that out. That's something I was going to see, if I've got a laptop up at the table and I'm actually watching the Facebook Live as we're broadcasting it and taking the questions through there, that's one way to do it. Doing it through Zoom, that's another way to do it. There's a plethora of other ways to do it. So that is a core functionality that I think that we all kind of agree on, is being able to broadcast, not just show it after the fact. So that's on my agenda of things to do as we build up our social media presence as well as our website presence.
And I can work with you on that, Jason, also, and we can test out what works.
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay. Ms. Binkin, anything else?
The Ohio Tax Commissioner approved the Montgomery County's request to extend the property tax due date from July 17th to August 14th. Treasurer Rush Joseph and Auditor Carl Keith requested the extension due to the COVID pandemic. So tax bills will not be due till August 14th. With that, I have already emailed that information to our attorneys, who has also forwarded that to Bonnie Bertelson's attorney. So he knows the payment will be possibly like a month later due to their request to extend the tax deadline. And a couple other things I just put there just for an FYI regarding German Township, their zoning hours, their office hours, and Jackson Township hours for their zoning assistant and office help, just to kind of go by and give you some idea for when we start interviewing for Kate's position. And that's all I have.
Okay, reports from department heads, road and cemetery. Let's see, we had 2 footers, or we have 2 footers remaining to pour, one in Pleasant Hill Cemetery and one in Eversole due to late orders. 3 footers poured in Pleasant Hill, 10 trees cut down in Pleasant Hill Cemetery by road department, and it looks very nice. Mowing, active and inactive cemeteries and township properties. We leveled graves, still need to seed. Keener Road, final paving, May 6th. Remaining work, dirt work, beaming, seeding, and striping. Culvert installed on Avon Drive. Notified for driveway culvert on Heckathorn Road. Repair broken tile on Amity Road, and we'll start mowing roads soon.
Do you have Kate's report, Missy, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Regarding the trash, Kate has here, thanks to Mike Kraft, I was able to find 8 active and 1 inactive trash account that has multiple units, but have only been billed for 1 unit since the second quarter of 2018, when the trash billing software program was switched from Zone Pro to iWorks. Kate is currently working on a letter to send to the affected property owners to advise them of the oversight. For zoning, she has issued a pole barn permit, a shed, and an above-ground swimming pool. She needs a date and time for a nuisance abatement hearing on 11803 Wolf Creek Pike. And the meeting room will need configured for social distancing. Do you trustees want to schedule a date and time now? And that'll be for Tim Settle's property on Wolf Creek.
I'm open whenever you guys are. How long does it take for Kate to notify Mr. Settle?
It's up to you. Are you wanting to give him any more time?
We've already given him 2 extensions, haven't we?
Okay, yes, we have. Okay, so then she'll just have to compose a letter and send to him, but this is the date and time of the nuisance abatement hearing. Then when he comes in, that'll be your trustee's decision then to either have someone go in and clean up the property, whether that be our road crew, or if we hire a contractor. Again, if we hire a contractor to go in, then that needs to be paid out of the general fund.
Okay. What dates are you guys available?
How can we do June 3rd, or is that putting it out too far? We have interviews the prior Wednesday, and Wednesdays work best for me.
I'm good with that.
Not
Jason, are you?
I'm available on the 3rd. Prefer something before, either before 1 p.m. or after 2 p.m.
So why don't we make it 10 o'clock?
Sounds good.
Okay.
On June 3rd, that's on a Wednesday, Kate's hours are 1 to 5. Do you want her to come in early?
No. Jason, you said after 2 then?
Yes, after 2.
Okay. So let's make it 2:30.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Also, the trustees need to drive by 10055 Little Richmond Road to see if a possible nuisance condition exists. That is the green property.
Is that a nuisance or a mowing?
It falls underneath the same category. It'll be for mowing, but it's a nuisance abatement property.
Yeah, because we have several of those. That was another thing that I was going to talk about. So, okay.
Well, Kate will need each of you trustees to drive by to determine if it's a nuisance condition. And then once she gets 2 of the 3, then she can schedule the
Okay.
abatements.
Okay.
So
Okay.
all of you drive by that. Again, the address is 10055 Little Richmond Road. Need the meeting room configured for social distancing for a BZA meeting on June the 4th. 5 board members, a zoning administrator, and as many chairs for residents as allowed per social distancing guidelines. The zoning administrator needs to know no later than May 20th how the room will be configured. I guess that will be in our hands to space the chairs out.
Yeah,
Make
if I was a board member, I would just sit, just come in and take a seat so far away from each other. And if we have to, we'll remove some chairs.
So I did see in the office on the bulletin board that the fire department did come in and put a max occupancy on both the office space as well as the meeting room
Yes.
to reflect the new social distancing standard, which I think for the meeting room, is it like 22 or 20?
38.
Well, it was 38 total. So half of that, correct?
Right. Right. Because I know it's 4 for the office space. So yeah, it's that's something to consider as well with based on their agendas and everything else.
And how many people usually attend the BZA meetings?
I don't know how many she has for that night. And one will be Bronc, which there has been probably about 3 or 4.
Plus all the members.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get it done. We can just have the maintenance guys come over, or the road crew come over and take some chairs or move some chairs around and have a total of that.
Okay, so the road crew will move the
Yeah.
chairs around and configure.
Yeah. And up there at the front, they'll just have to space themselves out. If one needs to sit by the door or whatever, they'll just have to do that.
Okay. For old business, the BZA has an opening for a regular member and a second alternate member. Interested in the positions are Charles Freshour, Dale Sim, and David Stack. All 3 are interested in the regular member and as the second alternate member. We probably need to get here, let me read on. Since I am leaving, this is Kate, since Kate is leaving the end of June, I strongly recommend Dale Sim as the BZA regular member since he has the knowledge and experience the position requires. It is up to the trustees to select the members. A second alternate is not required, but the current BZA members suggested having a second alternate. I know she has had this on her agenda for multiple meetings. Would you trustees like to approve a member tonight and a second alternate?
Well,
I've got a quick question about this, and with the new zoning person coming in, does any of this fall under the category of this hiring freeze that the governor has implemented? We're not going to have a problem appointing new people to positions right now, are we?
I cannot answer that.
I wouldn't think so since they're already existing positions.
Okay.
Any thoughts, anybody?
Do we get an opportunity to speak with these people before appointing somebody, or because I don't believe I know all 3 of the candidates. I know 2 out of 3. But is it like an interview process? Is it, do we just pick?
In the past, there has never been an interview process, but if that's what you trustees would like, then we can go in that direction.
I think it would make sense just to kind of get an understanding of the current board and what's needed for the position before just randomly naming somebody off the top of my head. That's my opinion.
When would you like to have the interviews?
When are you guys free to do it, or is
I
that
can,
what you
I
guys
can be
want?
free whenever. I'll try to make what works for you to work for me.
Or I guess, I mean, Missy, if you know all three people, I don't know all three of them, and I would like the opportunity to know who I'm not choosing so that I know why I'm not choosing them.
My issue is I know this David Steck. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rhonda. He's never even responded back to anything that Kate has sent out to him. We have.
No, he has.
Oh, he has. Okay,
Yes.
sorry, I take that back. No, I don't know David Steck. I know Mr. Freshour. I know Mr. Sim, and I wholeheartedly agree with. I'm sorry. With Kate, the gentleman knows his stuff. So, he was the one. He just knows his township. So if I, with the problems with the BZA board that we're having, I would think that Mr. Sim would do us a great job. But that's up to you guys. And
I don't disagree.
we never interviewed. We never sat down and talked to people. It's just, you go by past experience and so on and so forth. And Mr. Sim has held this position. So
Would each trustee like to call Mr. Freshour's, Dale Sim, and David Steck individually and talk to them? And then in a meeting, can come back and you can exchange your thoughts?
I think that's fair.
So then there's not a scheduled meeting and having them come in, you can each individually speak to them?
Sure.
or we could even do it June 3rd after we get done with the meeting at 2:30.
Yeah, I know Mr. Freshour, Mr. Sim. I think both of them have amazing traits that they can offer to this position. I don't know. I believe I don't know David Steck. I may know him if it's the person I think it is. He also has some great qualities from his experiences, but I don't know if it's the same person. And I don't know if I know him. All I'm seeing is a name on a piece of paper. So I kind of got an idea in my head already, but I hate to pass a judgment or make a call without fairness to all three who are interested in that position.
And I myself would like to do it in person. I don't know. I don't know what questions Jason's going to ask. I don't know what questions you're going to ask. So if we all ask him we all get the same answer.
Right.
So maybe since we know Mr. Freshour, we know Mr. Sim, maybe we can invite Mr. Steck in since we don't know him.
I would just say invite all three.
Okay.
We can stack it on the June 3rd meeting and do it there.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so Rhonda, now help me, since this is an abatement hearing, do we have to have a special meeting then after that?
Yes, it will be a special meeting. You'll have to open it as a regular, meeting, and then you can go into
Executive session.
for hiring.
Okay.
And I might reach out to Nathaniel on that. I know you can for employment. I'm assuming this would be an employment since they are or would be getting paid.
Right. So do you guys want to do like a special meeting, say at 3:45? Is that good? Gives us enough time with the abatement hearing?
That works for me.
That's fine.
At 3:45?
Yeah.
Okay, and I will contact Nathaniel just to make sure that we're going about this properly, okay?
Okay.
We need to go into executive session is my question on that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
The only other thing on Kate's report is that the office will be closed Monday, May 25th for Memorial Day. And for the police report.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I say something?
Yes.
Real quick. I'm sorry. When we have the meetings, like the BZA meetings and stuff, do people need to wear a mask when they enter the building? Or is that one of the, it's like what? Is it up to you or I don't, I think in that stipulation?
I think it's going to be up to us to decide. if we want to make that a thing or not.
What you guys' feelings?
I think I'd leave it to, if I had my preference, my son is high risk. I will definitely have a mask on. I won't tell anyone else that they have to, but I will definitely keep my distance, and it won't be personal. So, well, I don't want to force it on people, but at the same time, understand that people may well do it.
Yeah, we strongly suggest, that's what we can say, we strongly suggest at the BZA meeting and at our June 3rd meeting that you that you have a mask. That's what I would say. Because you can't make people wear them, but.
Right.
Okay.
And if anyone in the township is in need of masks, I still am in a position to provide them free of charge for whomever.
Okay. Okay, sorry about that. That just came to me.
Okay.
Okay.
And the only thing for the police department, Stephen Payne, he is now a full-time police officer effective April 20th, and his pay rate is $16 an hour. I'll need a resolution.
I make a motion that we pay Mr. Or Officer Payne $16 an hour.
Second.
Mears,
Yes.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have for the
Okay, so
departments.
new business I'd like to say. I need a motion to have, I would like to have a special meeting on May 27th at 9 a.m. to start the interview process for the new office assistant and zoning officer.
Is that your motion, or do you need us to make that motion? So I'll second.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll go ahead and start getting those people lined up and get you guys the times. And then also, what's everyone's feelings about opening up the offices? We don't have that much traffic or anything, and according to Rhonda, they don't have that many people coming in or anything like that. Are we game to open up the offices, or we want to keep them shut?
Rhonda, are you comfortable with it?
I am. I'm not for sure how Kate is, but I can ask her tomorrow. But do we need to know that tonight during the meeting? You want me to call her and ask her what her thoughts are?
I mean, I'm okay with it. You two are the ones that work the front line for the most part, so it's what you guys are more comfortable with. I'm going to make an attempt to try to spend some time there on Wednesdays, so I'm okay with it being open for people to come in if I'm there. That's one day a week and not completely guaranteed. I'm just going to make my best attempt to do so. But really, it's the people who are going to have to deal with it are Rhonda and Kate.
And you also have to remember that we have the glass partition. Like, Brookville's not opening. Right. Brookville's not opening because they have nothing. We have the glass partition with the little hole. So, and we don't have the foot traffic that Brookville has. So that's my reasoning. So,
And we have masks.
Yeah, and Kate has a mask and Rhonda has a mask. So
Yes.
The only key is making sure that you don't have multiple people stacked up in that entryway.
Right. Yeah.
Other than that,
yeah.
And I think Rhonda had mentioned before, I don't remember if it was Rhonda or I think it was Rhonda, about did we want to do like appointments for walk-ins? Did we want to, leave it to happenstance? How did we want to approach that, just to make sure that we don't end up with multiple people in that entranceway?
I don't think you're going to end up with that many people. I've been down there several times during the day, Jason, and no one's been there when I'm there. So, yeah.
I guess we can open it, and if we see where we're having some issues with people stacking in, then we'll reevaluate.
Yeah, or you can ask them to step outside until that person leaves the front office.
And Kate said she's okay as long as we follow the guidelines.
Okay. So do we need a motion on that, Rhonda, or just go ahead and open it?
Let's just go ahead and make a motion so we're covered that we will, beginning tomorrow, open the office.
Okay, I make a motion that Perry Township offices reopen as of, what is today?
May 13th.
May 13th.
I'll second.
Mears,
Yes.
Wynn,
Yes.
Hartshorn.
Yes.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, and then on to old business. I have something. First, I need to apologize, as I stated at our last meeting, when we agreed at our last meeting, our next meeting would be held through Zoom. I stated that I would put the information regarding our next meeting on the police department's Facebook page. I talked to Chief Littleton after the meeting about posting such information, and at that time he was not comfortable about doing it. That was my mistake. Information was told that we would be doing Zoom meeting, information posted on Office Door, Brookville Star, and information sent out if you signed up. So that was my deal. I apologize for that. Chief Littleton wasn't too keen on that idea. And that's all I got on old business. Anybody else? Okay. Okay, and on to the trustees' report. Let's see, I met with Mr. Kraft and Chris from Brookville and the staff from NCRS to discuss the log jam. They will be getting back to us with more information. Talked a couple of times with the resident regarding an issue he was having with his neighbor. Contacted Montgomery County Health Department and talked to a Miss Russell about an ongoing problem. She stated they were aware of the issue, but with the close down, they have not been going out. They were told that maybe in a week or two that would be lifted. She would contact me with more information. Went with Chief Littleton to look at a van and trailer he is interested in purchasing. I bought flowers for Pleasant Hill and Piermont Cemetery and will be planting them this week. Rode with Miss Christian to check on properties regarding mowing. Letters will be going out about mowing and some courtesy letters. Met with a resident along with Mr. Kraft and Mr. Robbins regarding concerns they have about the work that is planned for the cleaning out of Wolf Creek and their property. Had a reporter from Channel 7 ask about update on tornado, returned his call, but have not heard back from him. And I also picked up trees from Montgomery County Soil and Water. They gave us several different varieties. They are planted now behind the maintenance building and for now, and will be moved as soon as they get mature a little bit. And also, I want to thank Montgomery County Soil again for their donation. And that's all I got. It's Wendy.
Yep, I'm next. Okay, well, under some good advice, I made some phone calls about the intersection of Old Dayton and Johnsville, Brookville. And the position that we are in right now is if we continue, I guess I continue, to pressure the county into trying to change the signs in that road and get the county to make any changes. They have adopted a new policy of just turning the roads over to the township. If they turn the road over to the township and say, okay, we're done, do what you want with the road, then we become responsible for the upkeep, the maintenance, everything else that has to do with that road, which then would result in the need for additional manpower, additional revenue, neither of which we can afford right now. And in order to make all of that happen, the bottom line would be somewhere down the road, no pun intended, we would need a road levy. I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to discuss a levy. I'm not willing to discuss anything that's going to cost the township any more money. So right now, I am putting aside my beef with the county over Johnsville, Brookville, and Old Dayton. And I plan to revisit it again in the future when things have settled down a little bit. I have also been in contact with several people about a family in need in the township, and I'm asking that folks, if you can, to try to step up and help. There are 2 homes on Church Street in New Lebanon, and they have limited access to the home because a storm surge washed away the only access bridge they had. The dilemma with this is that the bridge is on an easement, which makes it the homeowner's responsibility, or the people that use that easement. It becomes their financial burden. Unfortunately, there is no funding available to help these families because FEMA didn't come in. It was not a natural disaster. So they have a GoFundMe page that I have shared on my township page. There's nothing we as the township can do, but I'm asking individuals to check out that GoFundMe page. Feel free to do what you can to share it. And also, if there's any residents that might be able to step up with the repairs or talk to the families and help them in any way. We're a township, we stick together. I'd like to see that happen. Shout out to the local businesses that are opening again. Some open today, some are opening tomorrow. So I'm gonna, again, ask our residents to try to stick with our local businesses and hopefully see our mom and pop stores recover as quickly as people that are diagnosed with this whole viral mess. And the last thing I've been busy with, on May 5th, there was a U.S. postal worker that drove down Keener Road and did a little bit of damage while the road was soft and newly paved. So I spoke with Mike Kraft, made some phone calls to the U.S. Postal Service. It went to customer relations, and the person with whom I spoke in customer relations said she was going to escalate it immediately to their District 3 postmaster director, who was supposed to give me a call back and has not yet done so. So I've gotten all the information I need and been on the internet to find out how to file a tort complaint if we need to go that route. And I am going to follow up as much as I can with that. And I'm fully prepared to seek the help, guidance, and support of our legal counsel if it has to go that far. I know Walls looked into trying to repair it and they were unable to make a quick repair. But if it turns out to be anything that is not coverable with the final paving, or if there is any long-term damage, I'm doing my best to make sure that the Postal Service stops blaming our people, because it wasn't our car that drove down that way. And I'm going to do my best to resolve this in a manner as quickly and professionally as possible. So that's still out there. I'm not real happy with things they said about our road crews. So don't like hearing things, and it's kind of on. So I will keep people posted on how that ends up. And that's all I've got for right now. Oh, shout out to our local police officers also. This is National Police Week. So if you see our officers out on the road, so give them a hi, a thank you, a bottle of water, whatever you do. So that's all I've got.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Jason?
Yes. So I've been talking with Kramer and Associates about the ramps that they've been working on since last year. They had to update their plans, which they were doing last week. And their plan was to begin the drafting process this Monday through Wednesday, and then send them up to Montgomery County for review later this week, possibly Thursday, Friday. They don't have a timeline for when they're going to be starting, but once they start, they'll be finished quickly. They did say that both ramps will fit within the allocated funds based on the quotes that they got, so they're very comfortable in that regard, and they will be keeping us in the loop as they move forward. Since the last Board of Trustees meeting, I've attended meetings, the Miami Valley Resource Planning Commission TAC meeting, the board meeting, as well as Harrison Township, Miami Township, and German Township Board of Trustee meetings. Still trying to broaden my knowledge, broaden and deepen my knowledge and experience, and talking with the other trustees of the other townships, and trying to learn from both what they do right and what they don't do so right. So the last thing that I had is I wanted to let everybody know that Perry Township is doing an outstanding job on the 2020 census. Based on the numbers from May 6th, Perry Township has a response rate of 72.1%. Very good. Need to push it all the way. The census is one of the key things for townships that affects our funding and our ability to get grants based on income per capita, income per household, as well as the number of people in the township. So thank you for your proactive responses. And if you know someone, remind them, hey, have you done your census today? And that's all I got. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and at this time, if there's any visitors that have any questions. No questions from anyone? Okay. I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I second. Saw your
Mears,
mute.
Yes.
Hartshorn,
Yes.
Wynn.
Yes.
Hey, thanks, everybody. We'll see you the 27th.
Take care, Perry Township.
Bye.